I am Disha. I am one of the trainees of Study
I
Comrade.
feel really blessed to be a part of Study Comrade. Our mentor eased our journey by clearing all the doubts. At affordable prices, we are getting access to a great content. I approached this platform through my friend and had great experience and felt more enthusiastic with the process. And the trainer, respected Ramakrishna sir, handled the process course with a soothing manner. He explains every topic in a practical manner for better understanding. We can approach him with any type of question related to the course.
After completion of the class, it will provide breakout rooms. That was a great facility where we can learn with our friends, where we can solve our queries with our friends.
Tutor is very highly efficient and very enthusiastic in solving the doubts, and also the prices are very affordable, and they made quizzes and tests in very fun manner, and they are very easy to learn, and it is very helpful in building your resume and career. I really recommend Study Comrade as a best place to develop your skills and add weightage to your resume.
Providing breakout rooms after the completion of class is something interesting that we can share or solve our queries related to the course with our teamwork. The Study Comrade team always stood first to solve our problems and use time and patience to solve our doubts. Along with the session, the Study Comrade team conducts some case studies, quizzes, and appreciate the winners and encourage each and every student to realize the opportunity. With all this, I felt more enthusiastic to learn more. And the Study Comrade team also provides the internship opportunities with the performance offers in the course. And I have recently selected for an internship opportunity offered by a company. This all great goes to Study Comrade team. Without a good trainer and team, we can't put our works in a perfect manner. Waiting for more courses from Study Comrade team. And thank you Study Comrade team for shaping the young minds to achieve more.
If anyone asks me to recommend a best platform to learn, undoubtedly I recommend the platform Study Comrade. Finally, I am very thankful to my trainer and the team Study Comrade. #Make it together.
Hi all, I became a comrade. Are you? This is Gangotri. Let me share my wonderful experience with Study Comrade's front-end course. I really like the flexibility of the course. One of the best decisions I have took to improve my skills is by taking the course in Study Comrade. Let me tell you why. The main motto of Study Comrade is team learning. Here you can learn more with your friends. Study Comrade will provide assignments, case studies and quizzes. I found it relaxing to be able to turn my work on assignments. Case studies really made me think and search for the answers, making me learn more. Every week, they keep on tracking your performance.
Hi everyone, this is Karthik Visai. I have recently completed Study Comrade's Python course. I can't believe how much fun I had throughout the learning process, and the collaborative learning environment made the content more interesting and easy to understand, and made me to bounce my ideas and solve the assessments and projects. And I am waiting for more courses like this from Study Comrades. I thank Study Comrades and team for their interesting and most wonderful learning journey.
Hi everyone, I am Pujita. I recently completed Study Comrade's Python course. It was quite an energetic learning experience. The curriculum covered everything from basics to advanced concepts. The instructor was exceptionally very interactive. Especially, I thank to Study Comrade and team, which helped me a lot during the course. Waiting for more courses from Study Comrade. Thank you Study Comrade and team.
Hello comrades, congratulations on booking your seat successfully for our front-end web development course. I am here to give a detailed course structure for this course. So this course is categorized into two parts. So in the first part you will be learning about HTML and CSS. In the second part you will be learning JAVASCRIPT, BOOTSTRAP, React.js. After completion of these modules you will be doing projects, and you will be getting certified with the course completion certificate and project completion certificate. So as a final step, we will be providing you with 100% internship assistance.
For now, let's only consider the part 1 of this course. The part 1 of this course has been scheduled from October 28 to November 4th, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day. So in this course, you will learn to build a responsive design by using HTML and CSS. After completion of every class in part 1, you will be having a quiz. By scoring more than 75% in every quiz, you will receive a bonus of worth 1000 rupees for every class. So you can claim all the bonuses that you have got in your part 1 after the end of the first week. How you are going to claim all the bonuses that you have received in your first week? For this, you have to wait till part 2. So congratulations and all the very best for everyone for your great journey.
Hello, comrades. Congratulations.
Welcome to the day 3 of front-end development course. How are you all? Are you all excited for the day 3? Please drop it in the chat box. How are you all? Are you all excited for the day 3? Hi Venkat, hi Sujanya, hi Mahendra. All right. Okay, let's start. Before we go ahead, anyone have any questions with previous session? Anything with HTML? Because today we are starting with CSS. So before we start with CSS, does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. All right. Let's start. So, team, today we are going to start with CSS. So, that stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Again, it's not a programming language, nothing as such logical. We just need to understand styling properties topic wise, and we need to learn how to use it in our HTML, how we can use it with our HTML. So, unlike JavaScript, again, it's not a programming language. So, you really don't have to write those heavy logics here. We just need to learn how to create a responsive website using CSS. So today we are starting with basic like introduction, syntax, how we can select the element, how we can add styling to it, basic styling properties like color, background, margin, padding, and box model. This is what we are going to see today. All right. So first of all, we have what is CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So as I mentioned, this is not a language. Like HTML is still a language, it's a markup language, but CSS is not even a language. It is just a style sheet. So it's like a sheet where it's like a file, or you can imagine it's a sheet where you're going to select the element and add the styling properties like color, red, background color, font size. These are the few properties we have already seen, but we are going to see a lot more now. So it was introduced by Hegonvium in 1994, and the use of CSS is always going to be same. That is making your website beautiful, styling your website, making your website more presentable. Okay. For example, as I mentioned earlier on the very first day, if I open Amazon, okay, we can add one developer tools here. So you can just Google web developer tools. Okay. Just search for web developer tools in the text box, okay, in the search box, and click on the first link. So once you click on it, you will get a option here, add to Chrome. Once you click on it, you can click on add extension, and this will be added as a part of your extension. Okay. So you will be able to see this extensions over here. Okay. So initially it will not be visible. So you need to click on this extensions over here, and you need to pin it. Once you pin it, web developer, you can see this setting looking icon will pop up. And this, if you click on it, this is your web developer tools. If you're using Microsoft Edge, again, you can search for web developer tools. Okay. So now once it is added, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable all styling. Basically, I'm removing all the CSS right now. Okay. So once I remove all the CSS, you can see it's all HTML. And this is what we have seen till now, HTML part. How to bring images, how to bring content. This is something we already know. The next part we need to learn is how we can make it beautiful like this one, how we can create a design like this, like Amazon. So this is what we're going to see for the next 3 days, the styling part. Okay. So now before we deep dive into how these cards are added, how these styling, is done, we'll try to understand the basic of CSS first. Okay, like what selectors we have, how we can select element, how we can add the CSS. We'll try to understand the basics first. And you can think of CSS like a word processing, like you're styling your word processing document. For example, even this PPT, I have styled it. Okay, I have selected a particular font size, I have selected a particular font family, theme font. I am making it bold. I am making it colored. I am adding a background color. Okay. So this is exactly what you all need to do with your website. This is the exact same thing we need to do with the website. We have to add styling to it. So we have to add font sizes, we have to add indentation, we have to add colors. This is exactly what we need to do with a website as well. Just like you style any Word document, like I can create any Word document here. Let's say this one. I can add some text here. Let's say hello world. Now I can select it and I can add styling to it like this. Okay, the way you are adding styling to this is the same way you need to add styling to your website. Okay, so for doing that we have something called styling. This is the only thing you have here, that is styling properties. So we have to see there are a lot of CSS properties. So we are going to see one by one, topic wise, because there are so many. So topic wise we are going to see one by one. Now next question. Now we know like basic like CSS. We need to style our website to make it beautiful and how attractive your website is. Next part is how we can add CSS. Okay, how we can add CSS inside our code. So there are total three ways. Even in interviews, this question can be asked. How many ways you can add CSS? So there is only three ways: inline, external, and internal. Okay. This is the first question they can ask you: how many ways we can add CSS? Inline, internal, and external. Okay. And next question they can ask you: what is the difference? What is the difference if you add a CSS through inline, if you add a CSS through external, and if you add a CSS through internal? What is the difference? Okay. These are the two possible questions here. So now I will show you through code what is the difference. Okay. And while doing it, I'll show you how we can manage the code folder structure as well if you're using CSS. So let's say I'll create a basic P element here. Let's say I will add 4 words. I will run it. Okay, so here you can see this text is coming here. Now, if you want to style it, okay, if you want to style it, the very first way is to add style attribute. If you all remember, in HTML, we have seen this style attribute. So I will write P style is equal to attribute is equal to color colon red. This is called your styling property. The color is called property and red here is called value. Let's say if you want pink color, you will add pink. Color is called property and pink is called value. This is what we call as styling property. Okay. So when you add a style attribute, this is called inline CSS. When you add a style attribute to an element, that is called inline CSS. Okay, this is the first way of adding the CSS, inline. After this, let's say I'll create one div tag and I'll add one heading to it, because we know div is a container element. We can add any element inside this. Let's say welcome. And here I will create one p tag saying 10 words are there. So now I will select this div. So second way of adding CSS is internal CSS. This is the second way of adding the CSS. That is internal CSS. So here I am going to write div. Firstly, we need to write style element. So here I am writing the style element inside the head section. If you see, I have added it inside the head section. And now you need to decide which element you want to style. Okay, to select element, there are many ways. You can select the element by name. We have ID, we have class to select an element. Okay, so right now I will select this element by name. So I will write div curly brace. This is the syntax. Selector curly brace. Here you are saying from this body element, select all the div tab. Okay, this is what we are saying. So when you write a style element and you write div inside this is, you are saying select all the div elements from this body element. So right now this is the div tag. This will be selected. And I want to add color blue to it. So color blue will be added to this. You can see this P is having pink and this complete div tag is having blue color. And lastly, we have external CSS. Let's say for showing you all the external CSS, I'll select the same div tag. So for external CSS, you need external CSS file. Let me create a heading here. So for that, just look at the folder structure. You have to create a separate folder, CSS. Okay. In real time, we keep a separate folder for all the CSS file. Like for images, we created a separate folder. Similarly, for CSS, we create a separate folder. So let's say here in this CSS file folder, I'll create a new file, style.css. Okay. Inside this CSS folder, I have created a new file, style.css. This is the extension to save a CSS file. Now HTML file is here and CSS file is here. Okay, so I need to link them. So for that, we are going to use link tag here. So once you add this link here, these two attributes will come. REL means relation. So whatever I'm going to add here, the link, that is a style sheet. Okay, as I mentioned, CSS is a style sheet. So relation, REL means this relation is going to be style sheet. In the head section, you can add link. REL is equal to style sheet, its attribute. And in href, you need to give the path of your CSS file. So now you can see I am in index.html. I need to go to CSS file. So I will write /CSS style.css file. You can verify as well. If you control click on this, you can verify the path as well. So now your external file is linked. Okay, so whatever you write inside this, you can directly write here. Let's say div color orange. Okay, so now you can see on the same div tag, I have added internal CSS and I have added external as well. So the color that will be applied will be orange because this color, this type of CSS that is external is added after internal. Okay, so in CSS, the first priority is of inline. Okay, so this is the priority of inline. That inline style have the maximum priority. Okay, after this, if someone asks you what is the difference in priority of internal and external, that depends upon which is present as the latest one. So this is the last and the latest one written here. Like when this head section will be executed, this style will come and then this style will come. The last and the latest CSS written CSS have the highest priority. So if you look at this, firstly to this div tag, this style is applied blue, but in external I'm changing it to orange. So orange is present latest and the last, so that will have the highest priority. So this color will come. So priority of inline is maximum at the first, and after this we have internal and external. External have and internal, it depends whichever you are mentioning first. So if you are mentioning internal first, external later, external will have the priority. And if you are writing external first and internal later, then internal will have the priority. You can see blue color is coming now. Okay, so out of internal external, there is no one answer. Like the highest priority is of inline. So that is a direct answer we have. But out of internal and external, you need to check which is present latest. So this is present latest. So this will have the highest priority. So these are the three ways of adding the CSS: inline, internal, and external. Okay. In real time, for a website, we use external only. Okay. In your let's say if you are practicing in any website, we use external because we can keep our HTML code separate and CSS code separate. Okay. If you start writing CSS here in style, like if you have one or two styling properties, you can add, but in real time, you have 10, 12 CSS properties. It becomes very cumbersome to write the code here. It doesn't look good. That's why we avoid inline here. And again, we try to avoid internal, because what in real time you will have almost 200, 300 lines of code for CSS. So what will happen if you start writing internal CSS? Firstly, your 200, 300 line of CSS code will come, and then your HTML code will come. Okay, that's when real time, if you're developing a website, we go with external CSS. Okay, so this is what you all are supposed to use, external. Internal and inline has their own advantage. Like if you're working with emailers, at that time you go with internal and inline. But for a website, you have to go with external. Okay, I have showed you all three ways, but you all have to use external if you're developing a website. Okay, and these questions are very easy to confuse you all. Like which has the, like they will give a p tag here, and then they will give a p tag here, color pink or red, and they will ask you this p tag will have which color. Okay, they will give this p tag here in the HTML, and they will add inline CSS and internal CSS, and they will ask you which p tag will have which color, this one or this one. Okay, so you have to remember inline have the highest priority, so it will have pink color. Okay, and out of internal and external, it depends whichever is present latest. Okay, so like this they can confuse you. So this is what we have in inline, internal, and external. Okay. So if you read through here, you can see in inline, this is have the highest priority. So number one have the highest priority. This is having the highest priority. Then we have external. Then we have internal, and then we have browser default style. That, for example, for heading one, automatically the font size is more, font weight is more. So that is the browser default styling. Okay. And out of external and internal, it depends which one is present latest. So you can see inline CSS have the highest priority and will override internal and external and browser default. Is it clear to all? Three type of CSS. Please type one in the chat box, or you can drop your question. There are three ways to add CSS, and you have to use external only. Just type one in the chat box if it's clear. Type one. Okay. If for someone, I can see if the screen is looking blurred, please change the quality of your video. Okay. It's blurred because you need to change the quality of the video. All right. Now, importance of CSS, as I mentioned already, I mentioned it. Just open any website, disable the CSS, okay, and you can see how what CSS adds to a website, what value CSS is adding to the website. Okay, you can open any website and check that. In this PPT, you will get this PPT notes as well. In this, I have already added this link of web developer tool. Okay, so you can access this PPT as well later. Okay, so Ranisha, you're asking about priority. Okay, I'll explain priority again. So firstly, team, we have HTML file. Now we want to add CSS to it. Okay, for adding the CSS, we have three ways: inline, external, and internal. Okay. So firstly, if when you add a style attribute, this is called inline CSS. Okay, this is an inline CSS. Next, we have internal. When you add a style element inside head section, I'm adding it. This is called internal, and this is called external when you are adding this link as external CSS file. Okay, so this is the first question someone can ask you. Second question they can ask you like this: I have added one p tag and I have added one p tag here. So to this p tag, which color will be applied, red or pink? Okay, so you have to remember inline CSS have the highest priority. Okay, and out of internal and external, whichever is written latest in the head section, the last which is written is external. So this will have the priority. Okay, and how to add this? You need to create a new file, create a new folder CSS. Inside this, create a new file style.css. and give the path here using this link tag. So you can see I'm adding this div with the color orange. And you have to use external. In real time for a website, we use external CSS. Just for example, I have added this internal and inline, but we will be using external. Okay. Kiran, it's a rule. Inline CSS have the highest priority. It's a rule. It's a cascading style sheet, like one after the another. We are providing the CSS. So inline have the highest priority always. Okay. So this is the syntax. I have already written the syntax. A CSS tool consists of a selector and a declaration block. So you can see this H1, like for example, here I've added div tag. This is called selector. This is called declaration block. You can see this is called declaration block, where color is called property, black is called value. Font size is called property, 20 pixel is called value. Okay. These are called styling property, property, value, property, and value. Okay, so this is the syntax of CSS rule. Okay, browser default styling theme means the styling added by the browser. For example, if you add a heading one is already having a color black, font size is very much approximately 70 pixel. Okay, and it's bold. So that is browser means browser is automatically adding some styling. That is browser default styling. Okay. Those who didn't attend the first session, lorem ipsum is just a dummy content I have added. You can add any content here. Okay. Okay. So now next we have selectors, how we can select the element. Okay. So these are the ways we have element selector, like when you select the element by the name. Then we have ID selectors, class, universal, and group selector. Okay, these are the 5 ways we can select the element in CSS. After this, we have some advanced topics as well, like combinator is there, attribute selector is also there. Okay, you can read about it online. Attribute selector is there, combinators is there, but these are the basic selectors we have. Okay. So let me show you all. Firstly, this is your element selector. You're selecting element by the name. The problem here is if you use element selector, it will select all the div tag. Like in future, if you add one more div tag, that will also be selected. So if you want to select a specific element, you can give ID. Let's say I'll create one p tag and I'll give a ID to it. Let's say style p. Okay, this is the ID I have given, style p. Okay. So I will copy this and I can call it using hash. I can call it using hash. Okay. So this is called ID selector here. Just for explaining this one topic called selectors, I am using internal CSS. Okay. But after this, whatever topic we are going to do, I will use external only. Just for one example, I'm using internal. Okay. Because it's easier for you to understand what is written here and what is written here. Okay. So firstly, this is element selector when you select element by the name. Then we have ID selector when you give a ID attribute, okay, and you use hash here to call it. And IDs are unique. Like if I added ID here on this p tag, you cannot use the same ID again. IDs are always unique. Okay. So let's say I'll give a color here, teal color. So on this p tag, you can see is having teal color. This is your teal color. So this will have a teal color now. Okay, because I'm saying select a element having this ID style P. You can see it is coming here. And IDs are always unique. You cannot use the same ID on any other element. Okay, that is what makes it different. That is uniqueness. Okay, and when you're giving a name, make sure you're not using capital. It's not wrong if you use P here, you can keep P capital here, but it's a very wrong practice. Always use small case here. Okay, then we have class selector. Let's say I have two div tag and I'm going to add a class. Let's say you want to style these two div with the same CSS. then you will use class selector because you can use the same class on multiple elements. So I'll give a class here called item, and I'll just add one simple heading one, hello world. Okay, so these are the two simple text I have added here, div and div. Now, whenever you want to style two or more than two elements with the same CSS, then you can use class attribute. Okay, so once you select it, you can use dot here. Dot means it's a class selector. Okay, so let's say here I will say background color yellow. So now these two will have background color yellow. You can see these two is having background color yellow. Okay, so that is a difference here. If you use external CSS, if you use classes here, if you want to give same CSS to multiple elements, you can use class attribute. ID you will use if you just want to add styling on that one particular element. Okay, and whatever code I'm writing here, you can add it in external as well. There is no compulsion. Whatever I'm writing here, you can add it in external as well. Okay, but what I'm trying to show here is, like, you can see I have written CSS code till here in internal, and in real time you will have 200, 300 line of code. Okay, so now you can imagine, firstly for 200 line approximately your CSS code will come, and then your HTML code will start. Okay, so this is the reason we go with external CSS. But just for the selector topic, I'm just showing you element, ID, class. Okay. Okay. Rest of the selector, group and universal, I'll show you later. Once we go ahead, I'll show you there. Okay. For now, just understand element. It will select all the elements from the body element. ID will select only that one element having that ID. Class will select all the elements having that class attribute. And ID and classes are attributes. Okay, these are global, they can be added on any element. Okay, now this is like basic overview. This much you should know when you're starting with CSS. After this, what you really need to do is these CSS styling properties. Like after this, the number of CSS styling properties we have. Okay, so we have a lot of topics here. So we start with color. Okay. So color is when you want to give color to the text, to the background. Okay, so these are the values we can have: RGB, hexadecimal, HSLA. So now what you all can do is you all can use this website. Okay. So obviously initially when you're practicing, you don't have much idea about the color combinations. So you can use this website and you can select only one color palette. So there are so many options here. Let's say I'll select this color palette. Okay. So these are the colors you will get. So you have to develop your complete website around these colors. Okay. You can also imagine, like when you look at Facebook. Okay. When you look at Facebook. Okay. What colors comes to your mind when you think about Facebook? What colors comes to your mind? When you look at Facebook, what colors comes to your mind? Blue. Okay. Blue, white. So what it is defining? It is defining the brand colors. Okay, it is defining the brand colors. If I say Amazon, what comes to your mind? When I say Amazon, what comes to your mind? What colors comes to your mind? When I say Amazon, orange, yes, blue, orange, black, white. Okay, orange, black, white comes to your mind. So when you hear these terms, these brands, the color is something that pops first in your mind, because brand color, like whatever brand is being built, color plays an important role. Okay, colors is very important. So simply initially you don't have much knowledge about colors palette. So what you can do is, whenever you're practicing any web page, just select this color palette from this website. Let's say I will select this color palette. Okay, So your complete website will be around these colors. Obviously, you can add some yellow, bright colors to it, white to it if you want, but your complete website will be around these colors. Okay, because when you open any website, they have uniformity of colors. So colors plays an important role. Okay, so it's a free website, free color palette website. It's not paid, so you can make use of it. If you need retro, vintage, warm colors, old colors, you can select and use it in your website. Okay, this is your color palette. So once you, let's say if I select this one, you will get the colors. Like the one with the hash is called hexadecimal. The one with the RGB is RGB value like red, green, blue. Okay. So which or color name. So either, like we generally use hexadecimal, we can select either of them. Okay. Hexadecimal, RGB or color name. Generally we use hexadecimal in real time. Okay, so for example, I'll just copy this color and I will use it in my website. For example, I'll just select this color. Let's say this one. I'll just copy it and use it in my website. Let's say here I will use this color. You can see this color is coming here. See this one. This welcome is having this color. Okay, so it's easy to use. Is it clear to all? For the color palette, any questions in this color palette? Lokesh, is it clear? All right. Okay. After this, we have background properties. Okay. For background properties, the main idea is to style the background. Background color we have already seen, but apart from this, we have more background properties like background image. So what I will do, I will add one div here and add the ID to it, style background. Okay. And from after this, what I will do, I will write all my code in the external CSS file, so that we have a separate code for CSS, a separate code for HTML. Okay. So I have created this div. This is the ID. So I will be using hash here. Okay. I will be using hash here, because for ID we use hash and for class we use dot. Here you can see. Okay, so now for background first property we have seen, that is background color. Let's say aquamarine. You can see this color is added in this div. And you can see by default all the block level elements take the width of 100%. Okay, because all the block level elements starts in a new element, all the block level elements starts from a new line. Okay, so they take a width of 100% by default. You can observe all are block level elements I have created, p div heading, and they all take width as 100% by default. Okay, so that's why it is taking the complete area. Now here I can give some height like 200 pixel. So pixel is a unit. Okay, for example, if you want to measure the length, we use meter, centimeter. We use pixels here. Okay, you can use pixels percentage. I am using 200. You can see the height is 200 pixel. Okay, so now this is background color. This is the height I have given. Okay, now after this we have more background properties like background image. In background image you have to give the URL, and here you need to give the path. In double quotes or single quotes you can give the path. For the image, you can see I need to go from CSS to images folder. So I'm going to write here dot slash dot slash, because I want to go out of the folder. Okay, so now you can see I need to go from CSS file to images. So first of all, what I will do, I will firstly come out of this file, come out of this folder. So I will write dot slash. Now I am at this level. So I will select images and this image. And if I save, you can see this Facebook image is coming in the background. Okay, this Facebook image is coming in the background. Okay. Then related to this if you're using this background image, okay, all these properties I've written here, they all are related to background image. If you're using background image, then all these properties are related to that. Okay. So let's say you will use background, repeat, no repeat. Okay, right now you can see by default this is my image and they are repeating. Okay, just to fulfill the complete area, the images are repeating. So what I will do, I will write background repeat, no repeat. Now you can see this image will not repeat, only one image will come. Then we can give background attachment or background size we can give. Here you have to give the width and the height. Okay, so for the background image. So let's say I will give 200 pixel space 200 pixel. So this is the width and height of this image. Then we can give background attachment fixed. Okay, if you make it fixed, what will happen if you're scrolling, it will be fixed over there. If you're scrolling, the image will be fixed. If you make it scroll, it will scroll. Okay. So background attachment is fixed or scroll. So these CSS properties you can use only if you are using background image property. Let's say if you're not using background image, then you can't use these properties. Okay, let me write here. This is width and height. Okay. This is width, this is height. Okay, so team pixel size, you can just imagine 1 unit is equal to 1 pixel here. Okay, so 1 unit over here is equal to 1 pixel. So for width, anyways, for the width, we always go with percentages. Whenever you are working with the width property, we everywhere, even for images, even for div tag, for section, we will go with width property. For the height, we don't give as such value. Okay. For height, we go with the auto, like by default height. Okay. Secondly, apart from this, if you're going with font size, okay, that time we use this pixel values generally. Otherwise, we go with percentages for the width. We will see all that in responsive part. For now, you can use pixel, but 1 unit is equal to 1 pixel. So that's it. These are your CSS background properties. Okay. You can see images coming in the background and the text over it. This lorem text I added. Okay. So when you have this thing of creating a background image, I can show you. Let's say if you like this one, if you have a requirement of this background image, just imagine there's a background image here. Whenever you have a requirement of background image and need a text over it, this is how you can do. See, this grayish is a background color and this a text over it. So whenever you have a requirement of background image and text over it, okay, at that time we can use this way easily. Okay, this is background image and text over it. This is our background properties, but remember you can use these properties only if you're having background image. If you're not using background image, then you can't use it. Okay. After this, we have border property. Border property is very simple and easy to use. You just need to give one border property. Let me create a separate div for that. Let's say style border. I'm just creating separate div topic wise, so that once you revise, it's easy. Let's say I'll copy this ID. So here I will give some height to it. Okay, this is the box we are talking about. This is the box. Okay, let me give background color to it. Okay, this is the yellow box I'm talking about. Now on this box, okay, I am going to add border. So I will write border 1 pixel solid black. You can see this border is added. 1 pixel is the width of the border, solid black, and it is added on all the direction, top, right, bottom, left. On all the directions it is added. Top, right, bottom, left, it is added. Okay, let me increase it, let me make it 4 pixel, then 4 pixel is added. 4 pixel is the width, solid, you can use dotted if you want. You can see dotted lines will come. If you want dashed, then dashed you can use. So this is your border. And color wise, you can give any color. Like if you want teal color, just give teal color here. So this is your border property. Border 4 pixel dash teal. Okay. This is your border. And border by default is added on all the direction. Top, right, bottom, left. Okay. But you can give on specific if you want. Like you need only border bottom. So you can add it. Solid black. Okay, and comment this line. You can see border will come only on the bottom. Okay, border bottom you will generally see in the input box. Sometimes you will see an input box and they will have this border only on the bottom input box. So that is border bottom property. Okay, or generally when you hover over any nav item, okay, the border comes below. That is also this border bottom property. So you can give border on any direction if you want. If you want all the direction, use border. If you want a specific direction like top, right, bottom, left, you can use this. Okay, and if you want to create a circle, okay, let me give width to it. By default width is 100%, it is taking complete area. Okay, but let me just change width to 100 pixel for now. It will become a square. Okay, so whenever you have to create a circle, because there is no tag to create a circle in HTML. Okay, directly there is no tag, so you can just give border radius 50%, it will become a circle. See, it will become a circle like this. You can actually increase its border to add this effect here. Okay, if you want to if you want to create a smiley, you can easily create it using this CSS. All you can create smiley now. Okay, so whenever you want to create a circle in your website, you need to use border radius 50%. Basically, this what it do is it makes your corners rounded, like this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. It will make your corners rounded. Okay, so once you give border radius 50%, it will become a circle. This is important. Like someone can ask you to draw a circle in UI, there is no tag for that, so you need to remember border radius 50%. Clear? Is it clear to all till now? Background property, border property. Okay. All right. Now, last part we have is margin and padding. Okay, this one topic together is called box model, but before that, I'll explain margin and padding as well. So, margin is adding a space, okay, outside the border, and padding is adding the space inside of the border. Okay. For example, if you want to have a space outside of this, okay, you want to have a space. This is your border. Let me just comment this part. So if you want to add a space outside the border, okay, outside this you want to create a space, then we use margin. So you can give, like if you want space at the top, you will give margin top 20 pixel. Okay, this 20 pixel space is created. If you want margin on the left, you will give margin left 20 pixel. You will see the moment I save this file, 20 pixel space is created here. Similarly, you can give margin bottom, you can give margin right. Okay, so this is what we have in margin property. When you want to give space outside, this is your border, outside this border you want to give a space. Okay, like for example, in this Amazon website, you can see the spacing here, the spacing here. This is your margin. The spacing here is margin. The spacing here, this is margin. This spacing here is margin. Okay, this is your margin property. Okay. There are a lot of shorthands which you need to remember, like if someone give only one value. Okay, so that means they are giving top, right, bottom, left, all the values together. This is something you have to remember, like in interview someone can ask you, if I give margin 10 pixel, what does it mean? Okay, if I give margin 10 pixel space 20 pixel, it means top and bottom, okay, will be 10 pixel and left and right will be 20 pixel. Again someone can ask you, what does 10 two values means separated by the space? Okay, for example, let me draw it here. Let's say I have this box. So this is called top. This is called bottom. This is called left. And this is called right. Okay. Left, bottom, right, and top. So when you give, if you want to be very specific, margin top, margin right, margin left, you can use this. Okay. So this is your box. Outside this, you want space. Okay. So margin, if you give one value, that means margin 10 is added to all the sides. And if you give margin with two values, that means first value must be top and bottom, and second value must be left and right. Okay, you have to remember this. Anyone can ask you what does it mean. So margin is helping you to add spacing outside of the border. You can see outside the border the spacing is created. Okay. But let's say if I want space inside the border, means inside the border, around this content, around this lorem ipsum, I want to create a space. Then we have padding. Okay. So we can give padding 20 pixel. You can see 20 pixel on top, 20 pixel on right, 20 pixel on bottom, and 20 pixel on left inside the border, that is around this content padding is added. This is padding space. Okay, so if you give one value, obviously it means all the four. If you want to be specific, give specific. Padding top 10 pixel. That means it is added only on top. Only here it is added. Again, if you give two values, it means top and right, or top and bottom, and left and right. This is padding. Okay, so there is a very slight difference. When you want to give space outside the border, it's margin. Inside the border, it's called padding. Okay, for example, if I show you in Amazon, okay, you can now realize the space between these boxes. This space must be margin, and this space must be padding. Okay, if I scroll down, you can easily see this space, this white space must be padding, and this gray, this space between these two boxes must be margin. Okay. Here you can see this must be padding and this is margin. Okay. Now let me do one thing. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just comment out. I am removing the background color now. Okay. And I'm removing the border. I am removing the border and the background color. Okay. Tell me the space around this box is margin or padding. Okay. Just tell me in this box what is margin and what is padding. Can you tell that someone have added margin or padding on this box? If I remove the background color and if I remove the border, can anyone tell that this box is having margin or padding if I remove border and background color? No, if I remove, if you can't see the code as well. No, right? This is the problem. And this is something you all need to understand in a box. Okay, in a box. If you don't see border and background color, you really can't decide it's a margin or it's a padding. So as a good practice, you have to remember this theory. If you want spacing inside, like let's say this is a case where I don't want border and background color. So you have to make sure you need padding or you need margin. Okay, you have to take care of this. So whenever you need space around the content, this is padding, and when you want space outside the border, it's margin. Okay, and this is called box model. So this is like, if you understand box model, you understood like 30% or 40% of CSS, because the main part is this margin padding. So remember the order. Firstly, you have content, then comes the padding, then comes the border, and then comes the margin. You can see. Firstly, we have content, then we have padding, then we have border in all the direction, then we have margin. This is called box model. Okay, content, padding, border, and margin. So padding is always included inside of the defined border, and margin is defined outside of the border. Okay, so always remember box model have these four things. Content could be anything. It can be text, it can be image, it can be any content. Then comes the padding, and when you give padding, it is on all the direction. Okay, if you want to be specific, then you can give top right, bottom left. Then comes the border, and then comes the margin. Okay, this is something you need to remember. Okay, and let's say if you have three values here. Okay, if you have three values here, this three value here means this is top, this is left and right, and this is bottom. Okay, if you give three values, that means top, left and right, and this is bottom. Okay, this is the meaning of three values here. If you are giving three values like this, let me give here 10 pixel, 20 pixel, and 10. Okay, this is top, this is left and right, and this is bottom. If you're giving three values. Okay, this is the meaning of three values. Top, it's easy to remember. Top is this one, bottom is this one, and this 20 pixel is left and right combination. You can see. Avinash, I'm not getting your question. How to write starting text? Like, I'm not getting your question. Like, you want me to start this lorem exactly from here, like from the left part, from the beginning? Then you can't. Then like, don't give padding. Basically, because of padding, it's coming. So just don't give padding. It will start from left, extreme left, automatically. Okay. So just in box model, we have one more thing. We'll cover that tomorrow. Okay. That is this is actually a problem. Like when you give width as 100 pixel plus extra padding border is added to it. How to resolve that? We'll see that tomorrow. Yes, Kiran, if you want to style placeholder, okay, you can read about one topic called pseudo elements. We have one pseudo elements topic. In that, you will get this placeholder to style. So whenever you have to style the placeholder, you have to use the pseudo element placeholder. Okay, you can use that. Styling text we'll see tomorrow. Okay, we will be doing it. Today was the first day, so we discussed very basic about it. Okay. So that's why. If you have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, you can just add one in the chat box if it's clear. We started with very basic today. Like we saw very basic inline, internal, external, uh, color, background properties. Okay, in interview, box model is like one topic that will, in like 60% it will be asked to you. Box model. If you're sitting in a CSS interview, this will be asked. Box model. Okay, box model we have done half today. We'll do rest tomorrow. Okay, this video will be accessible to you all. Okay, you can go through it again if you want. This video is accessible to all. You can see it at a speed, like a higher speed, or like you can lower the speed there as well. This video will be accessible on like Study Comrade channel. All right. So the team will add a quiz link now in the chat box. Team will add the quiz link in the chat box. Okay, And I just want to add one thing, everyone please do the quiz, because if you complete the quiz and get 75%, okay, you will get 1000 bonus. Means for 7 days you will get 7,000 rupees of bonus, which you can redeem in the part 2. Okay, in the part 2 you can redeem it. So make sure everyone is doing the quiz and earning those bonuses, because those bonus will add a lot of value to it once you go to part 2. Okay, so do complete all the quiz thing and then mark the answers.